all this, guys. Today we are going to be doing our enrichment and entertainment feeding for the birds. This will last them a couple days. All right, let's get started here. We're using some bread, some peanut butter I buy in bulk, some of their scratch, some oatmeal, an old pie pumpkin, some vegetables, some peanut butter, old cereal. What is this here? Grubtera, black soldier flies. Oh, birds are gonna love those. All right, let's get started. Hey guys, how's it going? So today we are going to be taking some items that I have that are going to be bird friendly, you know, for my chickens and the ducks. And we do this about once a week. And what it does is it just supplements the food that we're already giving to the birds. It's starting to get a lot colder out here, so we really try to make sure that we can ramp up on their carbs and their protein, you know, along with any greens that we can get, any kind of vegetables. So what I thought I would do today is take you guys along and see how I take everyday, you know, household items like this old plastic container. I've cut little holes in the sides of this. We fill this up with snacks for the birds, and some of it's just their kibbles, their scratch, could be old cereal, just depends on what we have. And so I hang this out there, birds pick at this, and then it drops it onto the ground. So it encourages them to do more scratching, more picking, but they're also getting the higher quality food items for them. It kind of worked out kind of cool because we started doing some research on extra protein, what we can do for our birds. You may have already seen in a past video where we do our protein buckets in the summertime, where we'll take, you know, could be an old piece of meat, could be, you know, whatever, old vegetables, we throw them into a bucket. We actually used one time a dead squirrel. We saw a squirrel get hit. We were coming home, I picked it up, I threw it into the protein bucket, and then, you know, flies came to it, laid their eggs, the eggs hatched, and the fly larva dropped onto the ground. The birds went absolutely crazy, crazy, crazy over these protein buckets that we did. So now that it's winter time, you know, of course, we're not going to have the flies and the extra protein and that kind of stuff. So we're always looking for ways and things to do to up their protein. And what we found was these black fly larva eggs. This is from a company named Grubtera. And the kind of the cool thing when I started researching this company is their big thing is you know, taking food scraps from, you know, that were going to normally be put into the landfill, and then they feed them to their soldier flies, the containers that, you know, the soldier flies are raised in, and take 20 pounds of food, turns into 1 pound of these dried larvae. And so with, you know, food waste is a big environmental problem. So if they can take, you know, these food scraps and turn them into the black soldier fly larva, and then we can turn around, we can feed them to our chickens in the wintertime, you know, give them some extra protein. It's a win-win for everybody. So what I thought I would do is make them a special treat today using a fresh pumpkin, maybe a loaf of bread. We're gonna slather that up with some peanut butter. There's protein right there. And then I'm gonna roll those in the black soldier fly larva. Once I get this all set up, I'm gonna take it outside. I'm gonna put it on there. It's actually, in the wintertime, I use it as where I put their food to forage. But in the summertime, I use it as my, my clothesline. So it kind of is double purpose for us, but you guys will not believe. As soon as I start carrying in the containers from outside to inside, the birds know what I'm doing. And so they are waiting, they're anxiously waiting for their treats and their goodies. And they're gonna be in for a big surprise when they get to have these larvae today. So come on along, guys, and watch and see how I put together this fancy gourmet little feast for my birds. Yes, I'm that bird mom. But I kind of feel like, you know, if our birds are healthy, they're happy, they're eating good, they're going to give us better eggs, more nutritious eggs, and they're just going to be happier birds. All right, guys, come on along. All right, so I've got this plastic container. And what I do is I just cut the little holes. You probably can't see them on there. There's a little hole right there. One right there. There's 4 of them on this one. And what it does is when they bang around and pick at it, the food drops out of here. So I'm going to fill this one with, let's see. I'm just going to fill it with this kibble. I'm going to put a little bit of their scratch in there. These are the homemade pellets that you guys have seen me make in the past, where I take different flours and different things that I'm doing, and I mix it with the greens, and then I put it through my meat grinder, and I make these amazing little pellets. You guys see those there? Depending on what I put in there, so they're different colors. The birds love them. There's one. Now, because these will drip, you know, the food will fall out of here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on a tray here behind me. All right, let's see what else we got here. We're going to do this big one. I think I'm going to start it with a little bit of kibble. I'm going to put some of these black soldier flies in there. I just don't want them all falling out the bottom. Oh man, look at all those soldier flies. Let's see what they look like in here. Oh my gosh, they're going to love those. So let's put some of those in there. You guys see how that works? By them hitting that, these are going to fall out the bottom. They also know where these holes are, and they'll be picking like crazy to get these out of here. So if I were to dump this whole container of these grubs out there, they would tear them up in a heartbeat. By doing it this way, I'm making the birds actually work for their treats. So what I'm going to do too is I'm going to backfill this with some cereal. This is some cereal that's gone stale. I'm going to save these bags. I'm going to show you guys in a couple days how I repurpose these bags. Throw some oats in there. See how pretty that's looking? And I know the birds probably don't care one way or the other, but my thinking is they'll start eating it and different things will fall through. Isn't that kind of pretty? You gotta be a crazy bird person to appreciate this. I'll own it. I love the birds. All right, so we have a little pumpkin here that it's pie pumpkin. It's getting old. It's really kind of mushy, but you know what? The birds are gonna love it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some peanut butter. I buy this just cheap peanut butter. And I'm going to spread this all over on the outside of this pumpkin. It doesn't have to be real thick, just enough so that it allows me to have the thing stick to this. Peanut butter on there. Now watch this. I'm going to take some of these black butterflies. I'm going to dump them in here. I'm also going to throw a little bit of millet. What I'm going to do is just roll this right in here. Check that out, guys. Check that out. Now, if you were a chicken or a duck or turkey, would you not love that? All right, we're going to set this aside with our other stuff. Actually, it's going to stay here for a second. All right, now we're going to do the bread. This is just a loaf of bread that I made in my bread maker. I had some flour that needed to be used up. So we're going to do the same thing with this loaf of bread. I'm going to hit the edges of it just so it allows me to have a surface to have the grains stick to this. Now I'm not going to do the bottom of this because I'm going to have like a little, you'll see, I kind of put it's an old lid that I put on the bottom with some string in it so it allows it to hold it. And that way the string doesn't go through it. And what I love about this bread maker is it makes the loaves like this, so it seems to be a little bit easier than if I make the long loaves. Either way, I don't think the birds care one way or the other, but all right, so for this one, I'm going to hit just this side. I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to get this side. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my pumpkin over here. I'm going to dump a little bit of crumble in here. I'm going to hit the opposite sides. Right here. Put over. And hit there. So you check that out for the birds. That way allows them to kind of pick and choose whatever they want. So let's go ahead and put that bottom piece on. All right, so for the bottom piece, what I've done is I've taken, this is an old deli bowl lid. You know, you get your mashed or your potato salad and stuff in it from the deli. So I took an upholstery needle. These are just really long. Took some string and kind of put it through there. And what I'll do is I'll string that bread down here, and then it rests on this piece of plastic here. So then if I just did it with the string, it would just break and go right through it. So this kind of helps support it a little bit. So I'm just going to take through the bottom here, hook it through. Pull this all the way through, and it's going to rest right on that bottom plate like that, and it allows it to hang. It's on here like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some other produce and stuff that I have. Let's see what I got in the fridge. I know I've got some cabbage. All right, so I'm going to take some pieces of cabbage. Kind of like stringing popcorn, but it's vegetables. All right, what else do I have? I have tomato. Another piece of cabbage. They know what this is, so they'll go after this pretty quick. And again, I can throw this out there just like this and give it to them, but what happens is they eat really fast, they gorge themselves. So by doing this, again, it makes them work a little bit harder. Makes the food last a little bit longer, and I believe that it really, you know, enriches the birds, because out in the wild, or, you know, when they're in their natural habitat, they're picking and scratching. They're not, you know, bellying up to the bowl to get food. I think I'm just going to leave that one like that. I think that looks kind of cool like that. So what's left of the mixture, I'm going to dump back into a bowl, and then next week when I do it, when I do their enrichment feeding, I'm going to add this back to their next batch. So they'll be getting still plenty of these larvae, the homemade grains, their scratch, and whatever else I can find between now and then. We're going to do one more hanging thing out there for them. I'd like to see them have a little bit more vegetables. Just take my upholstery needle. So I'm going to tie pickle to the end, or cucumber on the end. So it's kind of my stopper. See how I did this here? I'm just going to go through and alternate with some fruits. And again, I can just throw this out there and they'll tear this right up. But by doing it this way, it makes it last a lot longer, and it makes them work for it. God, that's looking already. Birds are going to love that. Too, I think I'm going to put a couple of those on there. That just goes right down the center. Look at that. All right, let's throw another cucumber on there. Do another, let's see, it's a cabbage. hole. They really love the cabbage. I'm not sure what's in it, but I can put cabbage out there all year, and these guys think they're getting like candy or something. I'll throw another bagel on there. Let's see. Cucumber. Oh, look at that. Do you guys see the heart? Because I love my chickens. Look at that, guys. So I'm going to put that right here. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go outside and get set up. So you guys can see how crazy these birds get. Alright, so I just went outside and grabbed the ducks containers. They know, guys. They know what I'm doing. Take a look at this. They know it's time. you want to get on that grubterra.com and check out their website, see if you want to get some grubs, the larvae, for your chicken, your flock, your turkeys, your ducks, whatever you have. You can tell they love it. Alright guys, get on there, you get the grub 10, you get 10% off your order. Alright guys, so until next time, keep on baking, keep on cooking, keep on stocking up your pantry, keep on tending to your feathered fruit babies.